purpose. Today is about people, our neighbors who are sleeping in tents, behind buildings, and under bridges. Our gathering today is about our collective will to change that reality. The Streets to Home Indy initiative is not just another program. It's a commitment to end chronic and unsheltered homelessness in Indianapolis, and to do it together, across sectors, across neighborhoods, and across lines that have too often divided us. This effort is bold, it's strategic, and most importantly, it's necessary. Today you will hear voices across faith, philanthropy, business, service providers, and those doing the work directly on the ground. What brings us together is the shared belief that every person deserves a home and that the time to act is now. We're honored to host this moment here at Purpose of Life because we believe in the power of vision when it's backed by resources, leadership, and the hearts of people who care. Let us now hear from the first of several committed leaders who are moving the vision forward. We will begin with Aaron Chounce, Senior Policy Advisor to the Mayor, who's going to be delivering a letter of support from the city and affirm the administration's continued commitment to this work. Next, we will hear from Dr. Chelsea Herring-Cozy, Executive Director of CHIP. Dr. Cozy will walk us through the structure of the initiative and how it connects with our broader homelessness response strategy. Following her, Rabbi Aaron Spiegel, a leader within the Greater Indianapolis Multi-Faith Alliance, will speak to the partnership between philanthropy and the faith community. And then we'll welcome Cynthia Cardona of Lilly Endowment, who will speak on behalf of the philanthropic sector, highlighting the importance of early investment and long-term commitment. After that, we will hear from Nikki Watson, a street outreach professional who brings us the real day-to-day realities of our unhoused neighbors and the urgent hope of this initiative offers. And finally, I will close by sharing a word on behalf of the faith community, our responsibility, our commitment, and our role in helping raise the needed support to make this vision real. Let's begin with Ms. Aaron Chounce.
Good morning, my Indianapolis neighbors. So I am honored to be here today with all of you as we continue the incredible work of Streets to Home Indy, which was announced last week. I do want to take a moment to reflect on how we arrived at this moment. In August of last year, Mayor Hogsett made a public and genuine commitment to end chronic and street homelessness as we know it in Indianapolis. As part of that commitment, the mayor's administration assembled a kitchen cabinet, if you will, that is now known as the Mayor's Leadership Council on Homelessness. The Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee convened this group comprised of civic, business, philanthropic, and faith leaders starting last October, and they got to work. Today, I'm proud to be here to talk about this council's core initiative to end chronic and street homelessness, Streets to Home Indy. This lifts up the community's plan to end homelessness and invest targeted resources to move this forward. I want to acknowledge that we are gathered here a week later than intended, but let me be clear, the delay in this gathering has not delayed the work of the council. The investment of $2.7 million from the city into this initiative or the sharing of this work with the community. Indeed, many of you here from the media covered the rollout of this initiative last week. So Chelsea will share more about this new campaign. I'll share a little bit here. It consists of 3 phases, and as decided by the mayor and the entire Mayor's Leadership Council on Homelessness, this phased initiative will be led by the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention, or CHIP, with the support of the mayor's office. As reported in the media last week, the first phase of this new initiative is aimed at directly addressing the needs of approximately 350 individuals who are living on the streets on any given night in our community. Soon, these individuals will be given the safe, comfortable housing that they so deserve. The first phase begins this summer with a $2.7 million commitment from the City of Indianapolis and another $2.7 million from the Housing to Recovery Fund. Make no mistake, success means that our most vulnerable neighbors receive the dignity of a home and the support they need to thrive. But it will take all of us rolling up our sleeves and contributing dollars, resources, and talent. So now I leave you with a challenge issued directly from Mayor Hogsett. How will you bring your resources to the table and truly demonstrate how you love your neighbor, all your neighbors, as you love yourself? Funders, we need you to be part of this by investing in this important work. Providers, we need you to be part of this by aligning your work to best practices and working together in coordination. Landlords and property managers, we need you to be part of this initiative by making units available and working with our housing acquisition team. And community leaders, we need you to be part of this by championing the work, celebrating the successes, and activating your spheres of influence. Streets to Home Indy is a true public-private philanthropic partnership, with success only being made possible by a community-wide response to love and house our unsheltered neighbors. Thank you all for being a part of this.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's so good to see so many wonderful faces out here this morning. Thank you, Pastor Green and Purpose of Life, for hosting this event this morning, and to my colleagues and fellow advocates joining this morning. I'm glad we are here together as we continue to build support and strengthen collaboration for this initiative. I'm excited to be with you today in support of the Streets to Home Indy initiative and to affirm CHIP's commitment as the lead agency for this initiative. We are well positioned and we are ready to serve as the planning, implementation, and fiscal lead on Streets to Home Indy, and to ensure we have strong collaboration, coordination, partnership, and outcomes to achieve our goal of housing 350 people directly from the streets in Phase 1. Since the launch of the Indianapolis Community Plan to End Homelessness in 2018, the continuum of care has made it a strategic priority to optimize our crisis response system by focusing on permanent housing solutions. A key piece of this priority has been aimed at developing and implementing a clear strategy for street outreach that connects individuals and families directly from the streets to rapid and permanent housing options, including those living in encampments and unsheltered locations throughout our city. While this has been a priority, we've struggled to secure targeted resources to achieve it and to meet the growing need. We recently reinforced this strategy with the updated and refined 2025 Community Plan to End Homelessness that was just endorsed by the Blueprint Council. The updated plan calls out a core strategy to create direct housing pathways for unsheltered neighbors by securing targeted rental assistance and service funding to support the Streets to Home initiative. This initiative has been both embraced and accelerated by the Mayor's Leadership Council on Homelessness, leveraging the influence and resources of the leaders around that table. While there's been significant and intentional planning over the last several months following the Beyond the Bridge film screening, we've been preparing and positioning our homeless response system for years to do this work. We, as a continuum of care, have held the vision that everyone has the right to be housed and connected to care, yet that vision has not been fully realized. While our system continues to house people, we've not seen significant changes to our homeless counts. We know that on a single night in Indianapolis, there are over 1,700 individuals experiencing literal homelessness. This total number, representing real human lives, has been stagnant for years. However, a few things have changed that we need to take note of, and that has inspired action now. While overall homelessness has not seen significant increases in Indy, the number of people staying outside has. People are showing up differently, and more people are showing up on our streets. This is a growing trend. Now, more than 20% of those experiencing homelessness are living outside, in encampments and places not meant for human habitation. This equates to just under 350 people. which we also know is a bit of an undercount, so we're planning for more. Since 2022, we've seen a 72% increase in unsheltered homelessness. We also know that Black unsheltered homelessness is growing, and a disproportionate number of people outside are experiencing chronic homelessness. We also know that it's becoming more and more dangerous to be outside, with extreme weather changes, efforts to criminalize unsheltered homelessness, and a host of other safety and health concerns. What this tells us is we must do something different. We must apply what we know works and what we've been building over the last several years directly to those living on our streets if we want to see measurable and meaningful impact. And we must have new local investment to do it. The good news is we know what works. We have built strong foundations that can be expanded and adopted to meet this moment. The Streets to Home Indy initiative builds off the strategies we've reinforced in the community plan, the transformative work demonstrated under the Housing to Recovery Fund in partnership with the Indianapolis Foundation, and the Home Now Indy partnership with Our Door to continue building the muscles and strategies to engage more landlords, secure more units, and get people into housing. We have so many of the pieces in place that we are bringing together for this initiative. Streets to Home Indy represents the convergence of 4 key ingredients we've learned are necessary for great impact: political and civil will, local public-private investment, strong and intentional coordination, and evidence-based strategies. This initiative allows us to offer dignified, safe, and permanent housing solutions to our neighbors living outside. It also allows us to demonstrate the power and impact of housing with services as an alternative to displacement and criminalization. This model has proven to be a compassionate solution to street homelessness, as well as a cost-effective way for communities to reactivate public spaces and to more effectively address public health and safety for all our neighbors. So I want to talk briefly about how this model is going to work at phase 1, and then also invite further conversations with you all as we leave today. So let's talk a little bit about how this works and how it's different. This model is all about expediting the housing process by activating a very targeted team that provides a continuum of services directly on site to where folks are experiencing unsheltered homelessness. This includes encampments, large and small, and other locations where people are staying outside. This approach brings together street medical teams and addiction specialists, outreach professionals, housing navigators, and case managers. Teams work daily in one location over anywhere from a 4 to 6 week period every single day to engage and support people, secure documents to help with move-ins, process housing paperwork, address needs, and navigate folks from the streets into permanent housing. There's a unit available, and that's part of the work, but also the essentials to make that unit a home. We're not just moving people into empty apartments and saying good luck. They will be surrounded by supportive services. So at the same time that this intense work is happening in location by location, one at a time with a cross-functional team, housing acquisition specialists will be out there engaging landlords, working to secure and hold units, and ensuring there are apartments available for people. This model builds off of successes from disaster response efforts, creating intensive focus on one location at a time with strong and intentional engagement. It requires strategic prioritization of locations and intense and intentional project management of the teams working on site. Partnerships are solidified with service providers, city departments, public works, and property owners to ensure no one continues to sleep outside once everyone is housed and a site is closed. This model requires a true public-private partnership to ensure we have the flexibility of funds to more rapidly house people without all the bureaucracy. Now, that does not mean without accountability or performance. We will actively be managing and ensuring fidelity to the model, progress on our goals, and adherence to performance measures around housing stability and reductions in street homelessness. This initiative brings $8.1 million to directly house people from the streets and revitalize public spaces for everyone. This funding will provide rental assistance, housing stabilization case management support, and flexible dollars for landlord incentives and move-in support. And once again, people are housed completely out of a location, then encampment closure management and public space revitalization. We will continue our work with the Mayor's Leadership Council on Homelessness, the Blueprint Council, and community leaders to secure additional local and sustainable funding to expand this model to those stuck in our shelters once we end street homelessness, and to scale diversion to reduce new inflow into homelessness and prevent people from having to come into shelter or sleep on our streets. I stand before you today representing the CHIP board and team, and alongside our partners, several who are here today and you'll be hearing from, to show our firm commitment to this initiative and to the belief that nobody should be living or dying on our streets. They should have the dignity and safety of home with compassionate care, and we must do better. And we can do better. We can solve street homelessness in Indianapolis, and we can demonstrate that housing with supportive services is the right, moral, and smart solution. After today, you can find more information about Streets to Home on CHIP's website, including details on how to engage and invest. And I welcome further discussion with everyone in this room as we leave here today. Thank you, and thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here today. I'm Rabbi Aaron Spiegel with the Greater Indianapolis Multi-Faith Alliance. My charge this morning is to talk about how we got here, and no, not the existential question. Many of you may not know that today is the culmination of over 10 years of work. It began with Don Sawyer in his first movie, Under the Bridge, The Criminalization of Homelessness. Shortly after its release, Don and Pastor Green became our city's leading advocates for the homeless. Can we have another round of applause for these two? Fast forward, April of 2024. And the release of Don and Tim Hashko's second movie, Beyond the Bridge, A Solution to Homelessness. After its premiere in Atlanta, the community asked Don to bring the movie to Indianapolis. Don was reluctant. Historically, he's not gotten the best treatment in Indianapolis, but we begged. Don said, okay, but it has to be big. Clues Hall big. We said, okay, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? The community filled Clues Hall. Don said it was the largest screening of a movie about homelessness ever. And the community celebrated, and the community waited and waited. When it appears nothing was moving, at least not with sufficient urgency, the community asked, what can we do? On January 23rd, a small group of faith and philanthropy leaders met, and we said, we can do this. We can end chronic homelessness in Indianapolis. Our hope was that the funding commitment from philanthropy alongside the moral and ethical mandate from the faith community would inspire action, and it did. Days before an April 8th follow-up meeting, the city informed the community that it found $2.7 million. That, combined with the Indianapolis Foundation's Housing to Recovery Fund, another $2.7 million for the services. And at that April 8th meeting, the philanthropy community committed another $2.7 million. Of that philanthropy match, the faith community has pledged a tithe offering of at least $270,000, which culminates with a weekend of shared commitment, August 15 to 17, with a kickoff of another screening of the movie. We hope you'll join us, August 14th at St. Luke's United Methodist. The Streets to Home Indy initiative is more than a housing campaign, and it's more than a program. It's a more of 26. The community showed up at the State House this year to combat the Cicero Institute's attempts to criminalize homelessness. But mark my words, we know full well they will be back in force in January. We must have tangible results before January, or we are cooked. I've said community more than a few times, and I want to be clear. We are the community. City, business, philanthropy, civic, faith, we all have to participate. And you, our friends in the press, we include you in that community as well. And you are critical to our success. You must hold us accountable to the results we promise. We can do this. We will end chronic homelessness in Indianapolis. Thank you.
I want to thank Pastor Green and Purpose of Life Ministries for hosting us here today, and all of my colleagues. And thank you for the messages of reminders, right, that this is about people, and that every person deserves a home, and that the time is now. It's critically important. So it's so encouraging to be here in community with you after the launch of the Streets to Home Indy initiative, and to be among peers from so many organizations and stakeholders in Indiana committed to giving back to the community. Thriving communities enrich our society and make them a better place for all of us and future generations. However, a community can't thrive without meeting basic needs, including shelter and housing for low-income populations and for our most vulnerable unhoused neighbors. That is why the Eli Lilly and Company Foundation has supported initiatives like the Indianapolis Foundation to support to address homelessness in Indianapolis through the Housing to Recovery initiative, aiming to transform the city's approach to homelessness, and to this initiative as well, which I'll touch on a little bit more in a second. The Eli Lilly and Company Foundation, established in 1968, is a separate tax-exempt organization and supported by donations from Eli Lilly and Company. The foundation extends Lilly's reach and impact in a charitable manner by supporting charitable efforts. Our focus areas include improving global health, education, opportunities for economic mobility, and strengthening communities. The Streets to Home Indy initiative by the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention highlights the importance of permanent supportive housing as a solution to homelessness. As a result of the Street to Home initiative, we hope to see reduced homelessness in the long term and an improved future for our Indianapolis community. Achieving such an outcome requires comprehensive and continuous efforts from various stakeholders in the community so we can play a role in the changes that we want to see. I want to take this opportunity to thank you again, all of the contributors to the effort so far, for joining forces to support the Indianapolis community, and a special thanks to CHIP, which the Lilly Foundation is proud to support. Chip has been working on homelessness, as you heard from Chelsea, here in Indianapolis for more than 30 years, and it will be a great leader of the Streets to Home Indy initiative. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, first of all, to Pastor Green and the Purpose of Life Ministry for hosting this event and for your continued advocacy to serve our unsheltered neighbors. Thank you to Chelsea, Rabbi Spiegel, and Miss Cynthia with this Lilly Endowment for your support to our Streets to Home Indy. I see firsthand the challenges that our unhoused neighbors face as we go out and serve the most unseen seen people in our community, the least, the last, and the lost. The professional street outreach teams and I make connections and build relationships with these individuals who go extraordinary lengths to survive the streets of our city. They build homes for themselves out of absolutely nothing, creating communities of their own, and demonstrating the strengths and compassion of the human spirit. While we're in the encampments, we provide blankets, hygiene items, food, water, and medical and mental health care, life-saving essentials. Additionally, the street outreach teams provide person-centered, housing-focused case management to support the neighbors along their journey, identifying and reducing barriers to housing and providing hope. We are not always able to offer the most important, life-saving, life-changing necessity, a place called home. 4 walls, a door, and a key of their own. Giving them a safe place to stabilize and begin a new path of their life's journey. A home is what our unsheltered neighbors deserve and need to meaningfully benefit from the supportive services we refer them to and connect them to. Having a place to keep critical documents, medications, cell phones, and personal belongings from getting lost, stolen, or damaged. A safe place, a home, affords the neighbors the opportunities to receive medical and mental health services, seek employment, connect with family and friends, and engage in whatever services are necessary to sustain their housing. That is what a home offers. A home is safety, a home is peace, a home is hope. Every person who we have met living on the streets deserves to be treated with hospitality, dignity, and respect. And every neighbor deserves a home filled with safety, peace, and hope. I am honored and eager to collaborate with providers throughout this great city and to fully engage in this much needed and appreciated community response. So let us all rally together to ensure that unsheltered neighbors we serve each and every day, that they always deserve the Streets to Home for Indy. Thank you.
I stand here today not only as a faith leader, but as a voice for every person who's prayed beneath a viaduct, wept on a park bench, or survived another night on the cold streets of Indianapolis. The numbers that have been shared today should not be seen as statistics, but as souls. This is not just a crisis, it's a moral emergency that tests the conscience of our city. As a people of faith, we're commanded by God to care for the least of those. The Bible teaches us that the true character of a city is revealed in how it treats the poor, the widowed, and the stranger at its gates. By that measure, Indianapolis must do better. This Streets to Home initiative offers more than policy. It offers possibility. It gives us a bold, strategic, compassionate roadmap to ensure that those who have been sleeping on sidewalks and in camps will finally have a set of keys and a front door. That's very important. This moment demands more than good intentions. It requires courageous collaboration. The City of Indianapolis, the Housing to Recovery Fund, and the philanthropic partners have already committed over $8 million to this cause. Now the faith community is being called on to raise $270,000. Not just from our pews, but from our convictions. And let's be clear, that's not charity, it's responsibility. It's not just about where people sleep. It's about whether we believe every person deserves dignity. The late homeless advocate Mitch Schneider asked a question that still convicts the conscience today. He said, the question is not why are people homeless? The question is why do we allow it? So I challenge our churches, our synagogues, our mosques, and our temples. Don't just say prayers, but be the answer to somebody's prayer. Open your hearts, open your doors, partner with this initiative so that our unhoused brothers and sisters can receive the housing and services they need to survive and thrive. And I challenge our corporate leaders and philanthropists, don't just sign checks. Stand in solidarity. Let's build a city where no one is left outside while buildings sit empty. We know the path, we have the plan. What we need now is the will. Let it be said that on June 17th, here in 2025, Indianapolis made a decision not to just manage homelessness, but to end it. Let it be said that we chose to build bridges, not barriers. That we opened homes, not just hearts. That we chose community over complacency. And we chose people over policy delay. As we bring this press conference to a close, let me offer this. Today was not just about words, it's about will. This Streets to Home Indy initiative has shown us what's possible when government, philanthropy, service providers, and the faith community unite in a common cause. Let this gathering serve as a line in the sand. We will no longer be a city that accepts tents as shelters or sidewalks as home. We will be a city that builds with compassion, acts with urgency, and measures success by how we care for the most vulnerable among us. Thank all of you that are speakers, partners, supporters. We thank the press as well for helping tell this story. We thank every one of you that have come here and all that are willing to walk alongside us as we ensure that this plan doesn't just live on paper, but it lives in action. So let's go forward with clarity, with courage, and with commitment. Thank you all. To the media, the speakers will be here, so you've got any direct questions for them. I've been asked all clergy, if you would come